You know what? For this video, we're gonna rip straight into the numbers. Don't worry though, because we are going to go over absolutely everything you need to know about Guardians of the Rift. So, within a solid 2-hour time frame, I was able to complete 12 games. I was sitting right around 54k XP an hour, and my total profit from everything I earned was around 930k. Spoilers, I'm already level 99 runecrafting. Your numbers are likely to be lower than this, but I am missing some items that can make my runs more efficient. I'll touch more on them later, as they're obtained randomly as rewards from doing the minigame. For those of you that already know a little bit of what's going on here, I received 43 Abyssal Pearls, and that's after the drop rate was buffed, and I would typically get 6 to 8 total reward points combined at the end of each game. I didn't actively try to balance the elemental and catalytic energy, except for the very last match that I did. Now if you didn't understand that last bit there, that's okay. I'm gonna teach you how to guard some runes, or something. I don't know, I skipped the quest dialogue. Spacebar! To have access to this minigame, you have to complete the quest Temple of the Eye, and also have level 27 runecrafting. During this minigame, we will actually be using the majority of the runecrafting altars, which means that you must have access to those altars to actually use them. For example, you will not be able to use the Death Altar unless you are already level 65 runecrafting and completed the quest Morning's End Part 2. So the more you have access to, the better. Also, having NPC contact unlocked on the Lunar Spellbook is basically a necessity to repair your essence pouches. Getting there is pretty simple. All you need to do is use the minigame teleport and it'll put you right outside the start of it. If that isn't available for some reason, the entrance is located at the bottom of the Wizard's Tower on the wall next to Cedrador. Before we actually go down there though, let me show you what we need to bring. A few notes here. Graceful isn't really needed. You get run energy restored during the encounter. I just have it on as a might as well sort of thing. You should bring the best Varrock armor you have access to because it helps you when you're gathering essence. Also, I'm going to have the Celestial Signet on for the +4 mining boost, but I actually don't know if a higher mining level makes a difference when you're gathering essence. I will say that you do not want to use the Crystal Pick or the Stardust charges on the ring. You end up getting more than enough fragments without them, and this place will absolutely eat up your charges like crazy. As for upgrades, an Abyssal Lantern should go in your offhand when you get one. You will be able to stitch all of your rune pouches together into a single big pouch once you get an Abyssal Needle, and the new runecrafting set can be nice for a bit of extra profit, you know, instead of wearing the Graceful. I think now we can head down there and start talking about what we're actually going to do though. Now that we're under the sea, you're able to enter the minigame by passing through the gates here. If you right click it, you can peek through to see how close the current game is to ending based off of the Guardian's power. Right now there is not a dedicated mass world, but once there is one, I will add it down below to the pinned comment. And this is probably a good time to say that any info I come across that isn't in this video will be added down below once I hear about it. You know, this is a week 1 guide after all. But once we are inside, you want to grab 10 unpowered cells off the table and also grab 1 weak cell. I'll then start my match up by one of the barriers. The weak cell you have will power the barrier and help prevent abyssal creatures from running through once they spawn. After that, I'll head back to the table and grab another weak cell, this time creating a golem, which will stomp off and get ready to hit enemies when they spawn. From this point, we will head over to the east and sit here mining Guardian fragments until we have around 200. This will be the most AFK part of the minigame, and should be the only time you need to mine them. When you do hit 200, you want to head back up to the middle of the arena. Right around this time, our first portal should be opening up. These portals will spawn every now and then during the fight. You'll be notified in chat and also with an icon at the top left of the screen. Basically, when one shows up, you want to drop whatever you're doing and head right over to it. Going through the portal will take you to some mining spots that give you Guardian Essence instead of Guardian Fragments. Mine as many of them as you can and fill up your pouches completely too. After that point, you will teleport out and be placed near the center of the arena. At this point, we're going to slow it down a bit and talk about the altars. In the arena, there are going to be portals to many of the runecrafting altars. Only 2 of them will be opened at a time, 1 elemental and 1 catalytic. Your energy levels in either of these categories do not make a difference in regards to completing the minigame, but instead are actually for claiming your rewards at the end, which I'll talk more about later. Let me throw down your cheat sheet. You basically want to use the highest tier rune that is currently opened once you have a full inventory of Guardian Essence. For Elemental, this is Fire, and for Catalytic, this is Blood or Death. I wouldn't necessarily wait for an overcharged altar to open up, but maybe if 2 weak altars are opened up at the same time, I would consider holding up until the next set is open. You really want to stay moving as much as possible though. Right now there isn't a timer on when the altars change, but one is confirmed to be implemented soon, which will help a lot with determining what you should do in the moment. In this example here, Earth and Mind were open. Earth is a strong tier while Mind is weak, so I went to the Earth altar. While you're at the altar and crafting runes, a few things will happen. First off, your Guardian Essence will become empowered and ready to hand in. Secondly, one of your uncharged cells that you picked up at the beginning will become empowered with a strength level matching what tier altar you used it on. And thirdly, on occasion, you might receive a portal talisman. This talisman can be used to go through an altar even if it isn't one of the 2 that are currently opened up by the minigame. This is very nice to see if you get it on an overcharged tier altar. So, you will craft your full inventory of essence, portal back out to the arena, and then click on the Guardian to hand them in. This will give you points, some experience, and boost the Guardian's power level to finish the encounter. At this point, you have some options with what to do with the cell you have. You can heal a barrier, upgrade a barrier to a stronger tier, or make a new golem, if they aren't already capped out. Making a golem rewards the most points, while healing a barrier gives the least. 2 things of note here. You should not make a golem unless you have an overcharged cell. Any other golem tier is not worth making, and if all the barriers are at full health, you can still use your cell on them to receive points, but no XP will be given unless it actually needs some health. I wouldn't say to hold on to your cells for this though, you should just use them when you have them. After you do use your cell, you'll head over to the workbench and start chiseling your fragments into more essence. Right next to it, you can also quick deposit any runes you get to keep your inventory slots open. And really it's rinse and repeat from here. You fill up on chiseled essence, hop into the highest tier altar that's opened when you have a full inventory, turn in the empowered essence, and prioritize using the portals whenever they spawn, as that will be faster than chiseling fragments. At the end, you'll get a big XP drop, and you'll receive 1 reward point per 100 energy in Elemental or Catalytic. The closer you are to a 100-point threshold, the more likely you are to be boosted up for an extra point. For example, you're very likely to get 2 points at 190 energy, but it's not guaranteed. Outside of the gate, there'll be a reward golem. You will need 1 point in both Catalytic and Elemental to claim a reward. I personally make a very minimal effort to balance my energy each game, but maybe if you're ending a stretch of games, you can try to go for the energy type that you need for more turn-ins. I'm just going to rapid fire the rest of the noteworthy things you might want to know. The Essence Pouch plugin currently doesn't work on Guardian Essence, but I do see that being updated in the future at some point. I don't know what the exact thresholds are, but I believe your end of match experience is determined by your base runecrafting level, not by how much work you put in during the encounter. If a barrier does break from abyssal creatures, you'll have to use 10 Guardian Essence to repair it instead of a powered cell. When the Guardian gets to around 90% power, you want to hurry over and craft whatever essence you have in your inventory before the game ends. And you are able to toggle off getting portal talismans from the lower tier altars by right-clicking the statues of them. That's it though, boys. I am going to zoom out of here now because I think a shorter video is better for the algorithm in this case. Help me out with some likes if you enjoyed it. And before I go, I just want to thank my past and present patrons for directly supporting me and my endeavors here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next one.